I'm with graduate student Marina Sylvestri, who's coming off the Green and Gold Classic. First, Marina, how exciting was it to finally get on the field with your teammates?
I mean, it was just an awesome experience. Obviously, we're a new team, so just that's always exciting, that first tournament. But just not been able to travel the last year and a half made this tournament all the more special. And just you really get to like take in just being outside, being in the sun, and being at such a gorgeous field. Um, yeah, it was just a great, exciting experience, and just made us excited for like the trips ahead.
And the first question, I mean, overall, what did you think of your team's performance?
I think obviously we didn't have outcomes we wanted, and there's some areas that we definitely need to work on. But I think overall, for a first weekend and not been able to necessarily do much in the preseason last year, I think we had a solid, strong start. We played against top teams, and we competed and we played our game. I think that's something that over my time here is that we don't have to elevate our game to kind of match these top teams. We're playing our games and we're competing. And I think this first weekend obviously exposed some things offensively, defensively, but that's honestly a good thing because now we know what we need to focus in on and hone in on and practice.
And then starting with the pitching, I mean, Lizzie Avery and Allison Boaz were sharing duties for the most part this week. I mean, what did you think of their performance, really taking the reins for the team?
Yeah, they shoved. I mean, they were dealing every inning they went out there, and I think they showed a sense of maturity that I'm like really proud of them for. They competed, they played their game, and they didn't necessarily get caught up in necessarily who we were playing or who they had to face in the box. And they blew me away. I'm excited to see where they go in the future. And like for weekend one, I think it was a strong outing for both of them.
And then on the offensive front, Nicole getting that big home run against Notre Dame. I mean, what's obviously facing some strong competition. The offense didn't really get to generate the runs y'all were looking for late in the game, but what steps need to be taken to take advantage of moments like those from Nicole?
Um, I think there's a lot of different elements. Obviously, Nicole's clutch. She's been clutch, and that was just an awesome moment, not only for her, but for us as a team. I think we were exposed in the sense that, okay, we're not seeing the same pitchers over and over again. We're going to be seeing top talent, and we need to adjust for that. We can't just expect to see the same things in the box every time, and it just kind of takes us back to the drawing board. We're a very talented team, and we're a very offensive team, as we've seen in the fall and last year. So I'm not really worried based on this first weekend. I think it's just getting the nerves out, getting the angst out, being outside for the first time, and just kind of finding ourselves. What's beautiful about like the season in particular is that we still have about 50 games left, 55 games left. So it's not the end all be all. I think it allows us to realize that we still have a lot of work to do, and that just kind of makes the process much more rewarding.
Well, and speaking of processes, what does it do for the team to experience these really close games that go along at the beginning of the season, not waiting till like postseason time?
I think it gives us, I mean, especially for the freshmen, sophomores, and even juniors who haven't really competed in a full length real season, it allows them to mature much earlier, much quicker at a pace we need to be ready for come Patriot League. Knowing that these games come down to literally one pitch and learning that at the beginning is a much easier lesson to learn rather than, last weekend in April when standings are coming out and we need to be winning every pitch. So I think obviously things didn't go our way this weekend, but it allowed us, I think we almost needed that too. Like things aren't going to be handed to us. We're not always going to get those calls that we need. So allowing ourselves to use what we can control and using that to compete and win games.
Right. And going back to your earlier comment about playing a tough schedule, certainly this weekend's not going to get any easier where you're going to an elite program in Georgia. I mean, first, how excited are you to be able to go to Athens, and kind of what are the expectations from the team this weekend?
I'm super excited to fly down to Georgia and be in Athens. I've heard great things about not only the program but the campus and the school. I've had friends play there, and they're like, it's amazing. So I'm excited to see that. It's always great in the preseason just being able to travel to new schools and kind of play at new facilities. I think going into it, obviously they're a top team, like you said, but I think what we've learned from this past weekend is that we don't need to necessarily change our game for these top 25 programs. We've gotten our program to a point where like we just have to play our game. We're competitive, we're skilled, so it's not, we don't need to be intimidated by who we're playing or where we're playing. It's just focusing on ourselves and kind of focus using that to win, not necessarily needing, oh, we need to play better because we're facing Georgia or an Arkansas, say we have to play Boston softball, bottom line.
Right. And then, I mean, for you, this is year 5. I mean, what's been going through your mind? Obviously, a lot's been going on in the world and on campus. I mean, for you, how exciting, or what has been going through your mind these past few months?
It's been a very interesting few months for me. I kind of jump in and out of like realizing that, okay, this is my last kind of ride. I don't get to come back anymore. So I'm trying to take it in as much as I can. And I've come to like think about just softball as a game. Like, okay, now since this is my last season for sure, I'm not going to focus too much on the little things or kind of measuring the season in terms of like batting average or errors, or kind of, I'm seeing it more as like a timeline instead of counting, stats, counting down the days and kind of taking it day by day and taking it all in, and kind of celebrating the wins and the losses because it's a part of it. And looking back, it's going to be a combination of both that kind of make up my experience here.
Right. And then finally, going into the weekend, I mean, what's the last thing y'all are going to say to each other when you enter the red and black showcase? Like, what's the first thing you want your team to do when you enter the tournament?
Yeah, I think I always try to think about what I'm going to say to the team before a game. And I think our motto this year, kind of something we want to keep focusing on, is that every day is a new day. So obviously this past weekend, we didn't have outcomes that we wanted, but we still competed. But going into this weekend, it's going to be a brand new day. Those past games don't matter, and new people are going to have their moment. New people are going to have to step up. So just playing the game, simplifying it, and also just taking in from this past weekend as well is that we have to not only win the game, but it comes down to winning the inning, winning the out, and winning the pitch, bottom line. So it's the little things that are going to kind of take us along for the next couple weeks.
Right. Well, good luck, Marina, this weekend, and thank you for joining me.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott.